Hello everybody, I'm Savvy and welcome to a different video for today. It is a City Skylines 2 video. Now, I'm not going to be doing I'm just going to dive right into it. I'm not going to be doing a Let's Play yet. I have done one in the past, but the amount of editing and everything for it's hard to do it as I'm doing other videos as like a standalone series, but I wouldn't mind trying to get into it. But for this video, I'm actually going to be doing a walkthrough for you guys on how to start your very own city for the first time. And this is going to be in the perspective from my experience of playing City Skylines 2. And if you guys would be so kind as to hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate that. And don't forget to hit that like button as well because it really helps out with the algorithm. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start a new game. Now this is different because I haven't really seen this pop up on my screen. I could be wrong that this was already here, but I've never seen it pop up before. So we have an easy mode and a normal mode. So easy mode is a stress-free city building experience with reduced costs, faster progression, and government subsidies that help balancing the city's economy, ideal for casual players. So it gives you a list of everything that you can start with here on easy mode. You could pause the video to read that. Then we also have normal, which is the standard city building experience with balanced costs, slower progression, and more involved resource management. Perfect for players seeking depth and challenge. So pretty self-explanatory with the descriptions of these. But for these videos, which I don't know, this tutorial video could probably turn into, or a walkthrough video could turn into a series. We'll see what happens. But we're going to select this mode, and again, you can pause the video to read these if you want to, but let's go ahead and select normal mode. And just for something that's simple, we're going to be playing on a default map. Now, I do have mods installed in this game, however, from the Paradox mods. However, I'm not going to be using them for the sake of this walkthrough. So something that's simple, we could start with a very simple map that's pretty flat. And one that I think is pretty good to start on would probably either be Lakeland, Tampere, or Mountain Village. Now, if you want a lot of flat area, a lot of flat space, I mean, Coral Riches is good, but it's kind of bland. But Lakeland, I think, is a good place to start. So let's go ahead and select that. I'm going to be switching to North American. And these maps here will tell you what descriptions they have, the theme that it has, the climate. The climate plays an important, or the maps play an important role with climate because I like climates that have rain and everything, so it also shows you the latitude and how big the buildable area is. Now, 49% is actually pretty large, and you can use different kinds of tools and everything, like landscaping tools to fill up the water and everything. And then natural resources, it'll tell you how much natural resources are here. So we got pretty much all the types here, so that's good. So yeah, normal mode. Natural disasters are turning on. Now you also have the choice between left-hand traffic, which if you are in parts of the world that drive on the left side of the road, you can select this so that way you're more familiar with it. But since I'm in the United States, we're going to be doing right hand, so I'm not going to be clicking that. These are also for cheats if you want to do unlock all, limited money, things like that. And just for the sake of the tutorial stuff, I'm not going to be having tutorials on because I will explain everything as we go along. So let's go ahead and start the game. We're going to be loading in, and I will explain things as we go. Alright, so we are in the map now, and I'm just going to hit play real quick so that way it adjusts itself. But look at this. This is Tampere. Now, there is a visual mod I am using. I could put that in the description down below so you guys can look for it in the Paradox mods section. It's the Braxton, if I can find it here. Let's see. Yeah, Braxton Bay theme. That's what it's called. Brixton Bay theme. But here we are in this map, and we already kind of have a layout for this, and I'm also going to be turning off the music. I'm sorry. What? I need to focus. So this is where you start here, and we have kind of a layout for a grid, but I honestly don't want this, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of these. Also shows a roundabout there. We don't want that either. So that could be a good starting point for you, but I'm not going to use it. So what to do first is we want to click this info views on the top left corner here, and we're going to bring down this menu. Now, one thing in particular, I want to see it air pollution. Now, this tells you the direction that the wind is blowing. Now, this is super duper important, and I had to add the duper there because this is what will determine where you're going to be putting your industry. Because if you put industry, let's say down here, and then you put your residential up here, pollution's going to start blowing towards that residential area and people are going to get sick, and we don't want that. So the best place to do it would probably be up here in this top middle spot here of the square that we have. So I think, and we're not going to be doing industry just yet, but what I do want to do first is extend this road, and I'm going to be using the 4-lane road here. It's a 4-lane road that allows traffic in both directions. So this will be our main street, and we're just going to go up to about there. And we can start to get to the smaller roads. And I've seen some content creators with City Skylines that use alleyways or alley roads to use for their residential, but I don't know. It doesn't look that appealing to me. Plus, cars move super slow in it, so I'd rather use these 2-lane roads for that. But I'm not knocking them for using the alleyways over 2-lane roads. For me, it looks aesthetically more pleasing just having the regular roads, especially for upgrading layer because these alley roads are very small. So just in case for upgrading in the future. So we saw that it had a roundabout here, but I'm actually going to go a little bit farther ahead, and I'm going to start right here at this square. And the block size does matter because we do not want to have that many intersections on this main road or that many close together. So the size blocks that I go with are actually quite large. So I go by 112, so I get the maximum usage of my grids. And I go to 224 for a block like that because I think that that is a comfortable distance from one intersection to the next. But you can, in the residential areas, since these intersections won't have any traffic lights, you can make a 112 by 112 square like so, or you can even go up by 224 vertically, go 112 horizontally, and then back down, so that way you have something like this. And then if you want to fill out the rest of it, you can just build a square right there, just like that. And then for residential, I actually have all the packs that are available for City Skylines that they came out with recently, which are amazing, by the way. But we're going to be using just between EU and NA. So just going to sprawl some of these. And you can either use the fill, which completely fills as you saw, or I could use the marquee tool, which I can click and drag here, or I could use the paint and just kind of paint in this. I don't know why you'd use the paint. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, I'd rather use the marquee tool or the fill tool, depending on the situation. So we're going to mix those together, but we're not done yet because we also have to put in some commercial. Now, I typically put commercial on the main street here. However, you want to keep in mind that a lot of traffic is going to be coming through the main street if there's a lot of commercial that's going to be sprawling through here. So I want to add just a little bit, and I have all kinds of things here, but again, we're going to go between EU, oh, I think that was an autosave, EU and NA. So I'm just going to put a few there, and it's okay to put some up here, but we could put some small ones, just sprinkle them here and there. Just a little bit, just like that, around there. That'll take care of a little bit of our commercial demand, and we could also put it on the other side too. I have a habit of building on one side only. I have a stream series going on right now of City Skylines, which if you haven't checked it out, I recommend doing that. I'll have it at the end of this video here. But what happens is I typically build on one major side, and then everything else is either like industry or something, because I want to keep those separate. I don't want them to be on the same side, you know. So that way all the vehicles, like trucks and stuff, don't have to go through neighborhoods or commercial districts or anything like that, and stop up traffic. I'd rather have them on the other side. But we have this little bit here, and now we're going to build our industry area. Now, this has a little bit of a hill, but the hill's not too bad. It's actually not that high up. Now, what you could do instead, in some aspects, is you could technically take a level terrain tool and go from the ground here by right-clicking, and then just kind of dragging the left mouse button and just getting rid of this. Now you could do that and flatten everything out, which it doesn't cost anything for you to do this. But this is one option that you may have, and then if you have the area that you want, you can switch back to a soften terrain tool and just smooth everything out. Just smooth it out. So that way it looks natural again. Just like so. And I'm glad it doesn't cost anything. But since we flatten this out, we can now make ourselves a place for industry. Now, what I want to use for this is the 3-lane asymmetric road. So that means that one side is going to have 2 lanes, while the opposite is going to have 1. And I think for cars that are coming in should have the priority rather than cars that are coming out. Now, that could be changed in the future. You can upgrade them by using this tool here, replace, and you can flip it by holding down the left mouse button and by dragging down your mouse to switch them back and forth. But for now, we're going to have it up here. Then we are going to place just another set of blocks here. Now, for these blocks, they don't have to be that big, like the neighborhood. I'm going to make these quite small, because I actually want to utilize all of the grid space that's possible with these. So they're going to be individual blocks, and these don't have traffic lights, as I mentioned before, except for the main one that's here. Now, if you don't want that, if you don't want traffic lights there, there's a few things you could do. But when you start out, you don't have access to anything yet because you haven't leveled up your city. But what you can do instead is you can go into the either cul-de-sacs or the roundabouts, and you could click on any of these roundabouts that you get pretty much for free, and you could put one right there, and that gets rid of the traffic lights, and all the cars can just go wherever they please around this roundabout, which is pretty cool. So we're going to do that right there to ease some traffic. And you could do the same thing here if, let's say, for instance, people coming in from this side, you don't want people to just stop immediately. You could have them... The only problem is that it'll get rid of some zoning. So if you don't want that, you can get rid of it. Or we could keep it there. And that way it keeps traffic flowing a little bit. And they could also use this, and we could put a roundabout there if we want to, but I don't want to overkill with roundabouts. But if you don't want the roundabout, you could go ahead and just delete it, and it'll bring it back to normal. So what I'm also going to do is take this road, and I'm going to connect those together, just like so. So that way there's kind of a shortcut here instead of all the cars having to go through here. But as I mentioned before, you know, I want all the trucks and everything going through here, but it's a small neighborhood, so it wouldn't be as crazy unless our industry is really, really booming, because that will be a difference at that point. But I'm going to go ahead and add some more here, and this looks pretty nice. And we're going to build around the commercial buildings that I decided to put there. We could also put some houses that are here as well, just some distance between commercial and the houses, because they do create some noise, but they shouldn't be too bad as long as you kind of sprinkle them about and don't put them all together in one place. Now for this, I'm going to use the marquee tool, and depending on, I guess, hills and everything, this can be a little wonky, but I kind of just go with the flow. I do go with the flow with it, and I'm just going to take this and just mark each one of those just like so. And I'm going to keep those spaces in between, just like that, so that way they can utilize that whole space, because a building can be made out of all those squares right there. You can also see that this blue splotch here, that's groundwater, which there are utilities that you're going to have to place down. Water and power. Now there is the water towers that you can place down, but however, we are playing on normal mode. So we want to keep in mind the upkeep and the cost of it. So for example, we have the water pumping station, which is the cheapest, which is 5,000 a month. It costs 25,000. Its water output is 100,000 cubic meters a month. And then we have these other ones that's 6,000, the Eastern European Water Tower, small water tower, which is 7,500. We have the regular water tower, 15,000 a month, only 30,000 cubic meters, $60,000. This is 40,000 cubic meters. The groundwater pumping station, it's pretty cool, but it only does 75,000 cubic meters as well as it's 10,000 a month. And then we have the French water tower, which is 9,500. So water pumping station is the best and most efficient one. I don't understand. I mean, I guess yeah, upkeeping a water tower is probably a lot more difficult than it is upkeeping a water pump. At least that's my assumption. So just like with pollution, air pollution, we want to keep in mind where the water flow is, and you see these little arrows here. This is telling you where the water is flowing. So let's say I want to put this by the bridge. So I'll put it right here. And then we also need waste. So there's a sewage outlet here, which is pretty much our only option. A basic sewage processing facility that pumps wastewater out into the environment can be upgraded with an additional settling tank and a chemical purification system. So you want to set this downstream so that way the, I like to call it poopy water, can be carried out through the water system so that way you don't have to see it anymore. So I'm going to put this on the other side of the bridge right around here. Now the difference with the pumping station and the outlet is that the outlet only needs a pipe that needs to be connected, just like so. However, this pumping station needs a road, and the road that I like to use is just a simple alleyway, just because it doesn't take up much space, and I'm not going to use it for here because this will create traffic lights. So what I'll do instead is just do a makeshift road that just connects to this corner here. This will eventually go away, and then we'll probably make a proper way of doing it, probably having access through the main road and being able to get rid of traffic lights. But I think we have things set up now, except for power. Power is the last thing that we need to do. Now there's two options here. You have a wind turbine and a small coal power plant. So a small coal power plant is good to have because the amount of power, and you don't have to worry about it for a while, but it causes a lot of pollution and produces a lot of pollution. The wind turbine is very low when it comes to electricity production, and it's based off the wind, how strong the wind is. But it costs less to upkeep and it costs less to place, but you will have to place more. Now in this area, you can see that the wind, you could see how strong the wind is. But the wind here does not give us the full utilization of the wind turbine. So it's not really in our best interest to use a wind turbine. Aesthetically, you could use it, but it wouldn't be that effective. So we're going to have to use the small coal power plant. It says small, but literally this thing is huge. However, I will say that the assets in City Skylines 2 are way better looking than in Cities 1. That's my opinion. So I think a good spot to put this would honestly probably be right here. I think this fits basically just about perfectly. So I'll place it there. Look at that. So there's also a feature with this. This has no upgrades, unlike the wind turbine. However, we have this connection, this power line connection that's in the back. Now what you could do is, autosave, you could see that there's this power line here, and we can connect this power line up to here, and what that'll do is, this is an outside connection that connects to another city. Now, the thing with this is that you'll be able to sell the energy to another city. You'll be able to, whatever output you're doing, if you have an excess of energy, you could sell it to the city. But for right now, we're going to keep our own energy just for the time being. And you could see that already we are losing money. But we are in the process of getting our first level up, which we are needing 750 XP, and we have 607 of it. So to get more XP, you can place a bunch of roads down if you want to, which is probably the best case scenario, because placing other service buildings and stuff do give you XP. It's a little bit different from Cities 1 because Cities 1 is based on population, while in Cities 2, it is based on, I guess, experience points with service buildings, things that people need if it's been given to them, and the amount of people that live in your city. I think there's other factors too, but those are like the major ones. So I think what I'm going to do real quick is just make another set of grids for the residential area because I want to make some more roads in order for us to get closer to that level up so that we don't have to wait too long for that. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm about to place the last road here that'll give us a level up here. Or not, one more, one more actually. And there it is, Tiny Village. So we get $25,000, we get a development point, and we also get an expansion permit, 3 of them. And we got a new signature building available, which is pretty cool. It comes with all kinds of different signature buildings, but we've unlocked services here. Healthcare and death care, as well as garbage management. But let's go into our points here. And this is actually where I was talking about how we couldn't remove the stoplights. So this is where you get that. There's also some other things here too, such as a crematorium, that's 1 point. And and we also get emergency battery station, roundabouts, and that's about it for our first point. What I usually like to do, I always love to go into the advanced road services because this allows me to have a lot more control over my traffic. Because not only we get the depot, but we also get traffic lights, stop signs, no left turn, all kinds of things. Even decorations on the trees or on the roads themselves with trees and everything. But this is kind of the grid system that I have here. It's very boxy, but I've also added some different shapes here as well, as you could see. Kind of interesting layout, but yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and press play, and I'm going to let this place just kind of build up a little bit. So I'm going to get in the right position here, and we're going to just hit play and get started. All right. So I'm going to slow down our time real quick, and we could see some of our lovely homes here. They look really nice. These are very very low standard homes, level 1. They don't really have that many accommodations for them at all. And one way to upgrade them is by giving them some health care and death care, which is important, as well as garbage maintenance. Now, for right now, the garbage is not really needed, but I do think that a small medical clinic is in order. And we have these other ones here, which are from the packs as well, but we have the standard one, the medical clinic, which 20,000, 78,000 a month when we're losing 3,000 an hour, and we're losing a total of 80,000, so we want something smaller. Now, I could put this on the main road, but again, it comes with the traffic problem. But the good news about this is that this doesn't produce any noise, so I can put this anywhere that I want. And I'd rather put this maybe on a side road instead. So probably like around, I mean, that fits perfectly right there, but I'd rather have it on this side of the road so that way they can immediately just come out and turn right instead. So I'm going to put it in the corner right there on this side street. And we have this lovely little clinic. Now, it does cost a little bit more, 10,000 a month, which is not bad. It doesn't really cost too much, and we also have way more demand. So demand is very important as well, because this will show you exactly what is necessary. And since we leveled up, we got a new set of homes here. We got medium density housing, but not just regular medium density, we have row housing, which row houses are pretty cool. They're pretty cool looking. So I'm going to use some of this low density first, just to sprawl that out. But then on these blocks here, I could use the and a medium density row housing, so I'll just use all that there, and then even the EU, so we could see that being built up for us. We do have demand for more industry as well as commercial, so I'll go ahead and oblige that demand there by placing more of this here. Placing it anywhere that I can until the demand has been met, because we want our people to have jobs. Definitely want them to have jobs. And I'll put some more commercial that's sprawled around here, just sprinkle it here and there. Just a little bit to fill in those demands there, and then sprawl some around the main street as well. Because the more people you bring into the city, the more jobs that or the more jobs that are needed, and more demand for commercial and industry come up. So, really cool concept for sure. And once we have enough here, the demand will eventually go down all the way. And in turn, with commercial, we need more industry for the products, etc., etc. So they kind of just work together overall. But there we go. And then just one more set of industry right there, and there it is. Beautiful. So that's pretty much how this works. For garbage, you place down a landfill site and you fill it out with the landfill lot tool, like whatever size you want. You also got to keep in mind with pollution as well, because garbage does accumulate pollution. So just like before, you can go here and look at the wind here and see which direction it's going in. And for death care, we have the cemetery, and we have the UK Parish Church, which is part of one of the Paradox packs that you could get from the Paradox mods in the game itself. But we're going to go with the cemetery, and I'm honestly going to put it in a block, one of these blocks here. So I'm going to remove this road, and I'm sorry, a commercial building, but I'm going to have to get rid of you. And this will help us take care of the dead people. And this actually gives us benefits, +3 well-being within 300 meters, and +3 indoor recreation, which makes our people happy. Very, very happy indeed. And again, I don't want to put this on a main street. I'll probably put this somewhat offset here, just like so. And it's very pretty. It's a very pretty building. There's a lot of trees, a lot of pathways, decorations. It's really, really beautiful. And we have a bunch of the hearses here that work here that'll go out and get the dead people and bring it back. But I think that this is kind of the stopping point for the basics of this kind of tutorial video or walkthrough video on how to get started with your city and how things work and just where to place things and everything like that. But if you guys want to see more of this, I can continue this kind of save here. And we could probably turn this into a series if you guys want to. Granted, I might not have it as heavily edited as, I might have it more of a form of this way where I just do hard cuts, but I might speed up things here and there where I might feel like that I want to show you guys some things, like how I showed up a sped up version of the houses being developed and the other buildings as well. But you guys can let me know in the comments down below. But if you did enjoy this, hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. And don't forget to hit subscribe as well, because it lets me know that you guys enjoy the content on the channel and would like to see more. I'd like to give a shout out to all of my channel members whose names up on the screen right now. Thank you to those who became channel members, and if you are interested in using exclusive emotes during live streams or getting access to exclusive content on the channel, be sure to hit that join button down below and become a Savvy Superstar today. I've been Savvy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys. See you later.